Alright, yo, how's it going? Welcome back. This video is a little long overdue, but we're going to be doing like an album breakdown video and kind of just going through the Weeknd's Hurry Up Tomorrow. It's been out for what, like 3 weeks now? 2.5 weeks now, so we've had some time to let it process. We're going to go through every song, sort of describe what we think or make it to be, give it a rating, and sort of say what our favorite parts of the song are, and sort of how it fits in with the rest of the album.
Yeah, I think it's been a long enough time that everyone's over that recency bias. We got a little bit more time to process the lyrics, the soundscape. Nothing's too fresh, but yeah.
And you've been listening to it a lot. How many times have you streamed the album so far?
72 now.
72 times. That's
Full
dedication
full
right there.
playthroughs.
Yeah, full play. Okay. All right, so let's get it started. All right, track 1 on the album, "Wake Me Up," featuring Justice. That's correct. I had high expectations for the song, just for how many times it was teased or like played.
Yeah.
Especially when I saw it live in Sao Paulo, that was big. Do you think it tops the other intro songs in the Modern Day trilogy?
For me, Alone Again was always the strongest, leading up to it. Dawn FM felt a little bit more like a prelude versus its own song, but I think Wake Me Up is his strongest opener so far.
Yeah, I think it's, for me, it would be better than Alone Again and Dawn FM. Just because there's so much more to it, I feel like, and it just feels so much more grandiose, like the entire album does, pretty much.
Yeah, it is such a strong lead for the album.
Yeah.
And it carries so much momentum from it going from its first song into its second song to its third. I mean, the fact that it has all these transitions adds so much more to it as well.
Yeah.
And I like as well the fact that it sounds like, from the beginning versus the end, two completely different songs when it transitions.
100%.
And, I think we got to talk about best part of the song, at least for me, that little snap that goes on right before the bridge hits. That is just golden.
That is,
Scratches a little part of the brain.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. And I mean, Justice did their thing with their production. Obviously, we'll hear it on tour, and I'm hoping it transitions into After Hours. Because that's insane. Definitely one of the better, or I would say best, intro songs for an album from Abel that we've heard. Rating? Out of 10?
Solid 9.8 for me.
That's high.
It's probably in my top 3 favorite songs off this album.
Okay. I'm gonna give it a 9.6. Alrighty. Track 2, "Cry for Me." One thing for me, after like a few listens through of this song, is that I think, like all the songs do, but I think it prefaces a lot as to what happens in the future, or the future songs of the album. So for example, the lyrics, "I can see myself, I'm not breathing, slowly bleeding." And I think what that is sort of saying is like how "Wake Me Up," if we're thinking about it from like the Baptized in Fear perspective, the future song that comes on the album, he sort of explains it to be like he's drowning in this bathtub. And we see that from the movie as well. So could that be him or his character dying? I'm not sure. But in "Wake Me Up," is he saying, hey, wake me up because something bad's about to happen, for me sort of being in this trance of some sort. And then I think "Cry for Me" would be, maybe it's his soul, or like that moment like when there's that phenomenon where you're like about to die and you can like see yourself like from like an upper view. So is he like looking at himself in the bathtub, like, I can see myself, I'm not breathing, slowly bleeding, something like that. And then obviously that gets confirmed in Baptized in Fear.
Yeah, there are a lot of mentions of a bathtub in this album.
Lots.
And I'd be curious to see how that plays into the movie. And another thing I really like about "Cry for Me" is all these parallels from After Hours.
Yeah.
Save Your Tears, Cry for Me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those kind of things you'll miss in the album, as well as a lot of mentions in the songs, like little beat samples he steals from his own previous work.
Yeah.
It's really nice. If you're a good fan, you'll catch a lot of those.
Yeah.
Little Easter eggs.
Yeah. No, "Cry for Me" is a banger. Like, I mean, you guys saw the reaction when I heard it for the first time, but that's gonna be insane live. Favorite part for me has to be just like that second like proper beat drop where the Metro drums come in.
Yes.
Like just the energy when he's saying like, "I hope that you still cry," and then bam, like that's 100% best part of the song for me.
It is one of those songs that I think it took a little more listens to grow.
For you, yeah.
For me, I know for you, instantly it was like, this is banger. And it's a great song, but it just took a little bit more time for me to warm up.
Yeah. Would you say that's also your favorite part then?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And the reverb as well is crazy on it. But yeah, for me, I think just in terms of energy wise and it being like a hyper song, I would put it above "Wake Me Up." So I'm giving "Cry for Me" a 9.7, I guess. No other choice.
I would give it a 9.2.
9.2.
Solid 9.2.
It's a great song. Next few songs, we're going to do them kind of in one part because, well, they transition and they're kind of related, I guess you could say. So I Can't Sing, Sao Paulo, and Until We're Skin and Bones. Honestly, I feel like with this part, Abel just gave like it all to Mike Dean. He goes, yo, just make something cool that like works and like transitions, and like that's what Until We're Skin and Bones is for me. And then obviously I Can't Sing. There was theories I heard where people were saying, oh, it was recorded like right after he lost his voice. I don't think that's true. Like I feel like I don't think like he went backstage and I was like, yo, we can totally make this a song right now.
Yeah, might have been something that was just kind of recorded when his mic was on, maybe. But there's definitely a little bit of questionable.
Yeah, he definitely had a plan for it, obviously,
yes,
and it ties into what this album is, sort of being that mental breakdown. But yeah, and then obviously Sao Paulo, we know what that is, banger song. No. Also going to be insane live. Every song's going to be insane live.
No, I don't know about you, but for Sao Paulo, prior to the album come out, I don't know if it was my favorite.
It's different. It's different for sure.
With those transitions and within the context of the album, it just put it up.
It works.
You know, I'm maybe a little biased to say because it was a single and everything else was a bit more fresh, but it's still up there for me. I would have to rate it like a solid.
Well, rate the like. All three.
Oh.
Well, actually, not. Yeah, I guess that doesn't really make sense. Just rate like the whole just like the 3-track flow. Just rate that.
If I had to rate all three as a cohesive experience, because that's what it is, I would have to say 9.4.
Okay, I'm gonna give it a 9.1, just because like
it's a bit of a skip because you've heard the single so much.
I'm not gonna lie, I skipped like Sao Paulo and Timeless a few times just because I've already heard it and I'd rather listen to the newer songs. The transition's great, like I said, Mike Dean just like messing around doing his thing. It somehow works, and I know there was a lot of fear, especially when Sao Paulo came out. People were like, how is this going to fit into the album? This is completely different than anything, but it's Abel. It's always going to work. So yeah, I give it, what I say, 9.1? I give it a 9.1. Also, I will say that like Until We're Skin and Bones is so loud.
Oh, yeah.
It's so loud. Like if you've listened to the album like with headphones, like full blast, your ears just like get messed up when Until We're Skin and Bones comes on. It's just crazy.
Yeah, there is one more thing I would like to add though before we move on to the next songs. I Can't Sing being, I guess we could consider one of like the lowest lows of his career, going into Sao Paulo, an extremely loud, energetic song in a style he's never done. And then I think the song title, Until We're Skin and Bones, it's kind of interluding into the fact that The Weeknd doesn't want to do this until he's dead. You know, he's reached such a high of his career, something so loud, and you know, as you said, Skin and Bones, very loud, orchestral, messy track. Yeah. You know, I think it's a little representative if he doesn't want to do this instead.
Futuristic intensity, as described before the album came out. All right, next up, we have a banger, Baptized in Fear. Just wow. Definitely has a lot of meaning, and like we sort of forementioned, like again, I fell asleep in the tub, I was met with paralysis, and he's talking about sort of like drowning in like what, his own sorrow or his own thoughts maybe.
Yeah, and again, the lyric, figure in the corner laughing at me. Yeah. I don't know if you saw one of those 3 teasers the Weeknd put out where he's kind of cowering in the corner as a child, and there's the after hours-esque demons.
Exactly.
Coats on looking at him. Yeah. Again, very interested to see how that ties in with the movie trailer. In the bathtub. 100%.
Yeah, and I think when I first heard this song, or when I was sort of listening through it and really thinking about the lyrics, the figure in the corner, shadow in the corner, sort of part of the songs, the first thing that came to mind for me was the Open Hearts music video with just like, you know, like obviously you've seen it, but like when he's like singing to the crowd and there's like, and then as well in Give Me Mercy, he sort of has that lyric where it's like these faces with nothing to say, sort of just like sinful. So yeah, I think it like definitely interesting how he sort of talks about the Open Hearts music video in the prior song, and obviously probably symbolizing past demons as well. You know, their heartbeats slower, they're getting closer, all this stuff. Yeah, Baptized in Fear is just insane. Favorite part of the song for me would have to be when Mike Dean starts, is it Mike Dean? I don't know who it is, but they start picking it up towards the end.
Oh yeah. And it starts to lead into Open Hearts. But before we rate Open Hearts, what is your rating?
Baptized in Fear, I'd give it a 9.5. 9.5.
I think 9.2 for me. Yeah. It's a high 9.2, don't get me wrong. Now, moving on to Open Hearts.
Hold on. Before we do that, Baptized in Fear into Open Hearts. Best transition on the album, yes or no?
For me,
it is. I'm just calling it right now. Like, when I heard that, I was like, wow. 100% for me, best transition on the album.
It is an incredible transition, but I think for me, it's just not up there.
What tops it? What comes to mind?
There are so many good ones.
Niagara Falls, Take Me Back to LA.
Yeah, honestly.
That's a good one too. Okay, so obviously then we have Open Hearts. Oh, again, dude, that transition is just like just picking it up, and then bam, Open Hearts, just like dun 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 dun. Like that's insane. Open Hearts for me is, I mean, I love the song, like since I first heard it when he played it live in, what was it, Sydney, I think? He played it live just like as a little snippet, a little teaser kind of thing. I was like listening to like the live recordings of it. I knew like that song was just gonna be insane in studio version. I did the Apple Vision Pro experience, crazy music video. It's a great song. There's just so much to it, and it's like, the lyrics are kind of simple, like there's not too much to the verses, they're kind of short, but the song just feels so long, and it just feels like there's so much to it for me. And obviously the beat drops.
There are a lot of parts of this song where the Weeknd, or Abel, if he gets into a lot of personal territory he talks a lot about like love, drugs, sex, and women in a lot of his songs, but the lyric that always, caught my attention in the song is "Cover my scars when I open my arms," and it's like, whoa.
But yeah, this song, the production, again, the lyrics, we see like the whispers in my ears, which is in quite a few of the songs as well. Again, this like sort of shadow, something watching him, and then obviously we saw that in the music video. Again, another song gonna be insane live. I give it a 9.4. Open Hearts is great.
I would probably rate it the same as you, but I think along with those, Apple test fay things that were coming out a little while ago on Reddit,
it ruined it a little bit.
It's because he dropped it, exclusively, and it's like the song existed in this weird time space where it wasn't a single, but it was out. If you wanted to listen to it, you just had to go see it.
It was leaked all over YouTube. Yeah.
It ruined the song for me a little bit. I wish this was more of a surprise.
The first time you heard it, yeah.
Like it would have hit so much harder, but it's almost like Take Me Back to LA, where it's like, yeah, I was listening to it as a leak listen, I guess, but it's just.
But then you actually hear its finished product,
and it was great.
Yeah.
I can't say it sounded too different, unlike Sao Paulo. I don't know, maybe it was just the energy and the way it flowed. Don't get me wrong, the transition into this was crazy. Yeah. But I'd have to give it a 9.2.
9.2. All right. Then we have Opening Night. Wow. like it's too short. It's too short. It's like a minute 30 long. He samples Kissland in it. Like, what? It's a song that could have been something so much more for me, which would dock the rating a little bit, but like in and of what it is, it's exceptional.
Yeah, I mean, there aren't too many interlude type songs that the Weeknd has in this catalog. I mean, you could count
Repeat After Me
because it has interlude in the title, but I mean, if you count Until We're Skin and Bones as well as an interlude, like those types of songs, this seems like it could have been its own fully finished song.
100%, yeah.
But I feel like it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's a nice little bit of, it wasn't too long, I want to go back and listen to it. It's not overstaying its welcome, but I definitely would have liked it to be a little longer.
Favorite part of me is the Kissland sample, 100%. I didn't hear it the first few listens, and then I saw someone on Reddit or TikTok sort of alluded to that, and I was like, oh, I actually do kind of hear that. Yeah, it's a great song. Like I said, it could have been longer. It could have been something more to it. For that reason, you can't rate anything like less than a 9. I give it a 9.3. Like it's for what it is, it's insane.
Maybe a 9.1.
Yeah. Sort of just talking about like other songs in the album as well, but I love how there's a lot of correspondence and correlation to the tour. Opening night, enjoy the show, and there's a lot he talks about during the tour. We'll get into that.
Closing night too, if you really
exactly, the bonus song. Yeah. All right, now we have Reflections Laughing featuring Travis Scott and Florence and the Machine. Again, another crazy song, very emotional. Die in Your Arms again, like that's crazy lyric. That hits. Obviously then when Travis came in, I lost my mind. That was insane.
I'll front with you, and you know this because we've talked about it a little bit. I'm not the biggest fan of Travis Scott, or to be honest, features in general. I think part of what made After Hours so incredibly strong and cohesive is because it's one of the only albums I think he has that has absolutely no features.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Kissland.
Maybe Kissland.
Well, Kissland had Pharrell, but that was like a bonus remix.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But yeah, it's
and Mind Your Melancholy, but yeah.
Yeah, well.
No, I know what you mean though.
yeah. It's I was definitely a little worried because there were some parts on Dawn FM that was a little bit like, I don't know if the features need
100%. The features in Hurry Up Tomorrow topped on FM in every caliber. They're
Oh, for sure.
they're, not only are they artists that like I like more, and I'm sure that makes it biased, but I think just the way it all fits, 100%.
It's definitely a part of the song that, you know, I won't skip it. I won't ever skip a song on this album. But it's definitely a little bit like the song would have been a bit more cohesive had you not been there.
Yeah, I get that. I disagree because I do. Travis is probably my second favorite artist.
Yeah.
Best part for me would probably be just like the harmonizing, where Florence and the Machine comes in. That part is just like heavenly, honestly. What about you?
Yeah, I wanted to allude a bit more to a conversation we had maybe 2 weeks ago where you were talking about the phone call.
100%, yeah.
Comes in,
Yeah, I was gonna talk about that. Yeah.
You know, you can hear Weeknd, Abel taking little rips at his bong.
Bong hits, yeah. He's coughing, yeah,
And,
yeah.
she's asking him, as you said, like, "Hey, you didn't finish the show," and you're
Barely
saying like,
finished
her
it, yeah,
voice gets
yeah,
more
yeah.
and more distorted.
More demonic, almost in a sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
And her final like voice at the end
Yeah.
of the entire song is, "What does that feel like anyway?"
Yeah. So like the way I sort of pictured it after a few listens through it was like, I feel like I know there's a lot of truth in Abel's music. I feel like this is something that actually happened. So if and when the Dallas show occurred, was he just back like to his old self, sort of doing drugs that he maybe shouldn't have been doing, or doing things that just past Weeknd did? And I don't know. Like I feel like that's actually a phone call that happened. Obviously probably not from Cherry 22. I think she fits great into it. I think it fits perfectly into the song. I think it's very creative. I also think it's very dark in the way that it's portrayed, but then also kind of comedic in the way, because she's like, "Don't do this. This is not you. My girl said she saw you in Dallas, barely finished the show, didn't look like yourself." And it's like, you know, what does it feel like though? You know, like what's it like? So I don't know, it shows some interest at the end. That sort of aspect again, like you talked about in the teasers. The one thing that came in mind for me was that one part, I forgot what teaser it was, but where he's like the child Abel, and he's like looking in those mirrors that are like lined up, and he sees like all of his like past forms of this Weeknd character, and these reflections are like laughing at him, like they're evil in some sort of way, right?
Again, the first lyric of this song, if don't you let me down, if you let me drown. Again, the drowning with the tub.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
You know, it's really cohesive.
Yeah.
And I have a little theory that these reflections laughing at him, the figure standing in the corner, is old Abel.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Or like past demons of his character or something. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
His regrets, his demons, his
Yeah.
guilt coming up and catching up to him, though he's trying to move on.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, a bit of a slower song. 9-4. 9-4.
9-2 for me.
Yeah. Yeah, 9-2. And that's still high considering you don't like Travis.
Oh, I
That's
know,
insane.
I know.
Yeah.
No offense.
Alright. Banger. Enjoy the show featuring Future. Okay, how do you feel about this feature? I know, I feel like you think Future fits more because you like, there's a part where he's actually singing.
Yeah, if you know me, I'm not usually a fan of rappers that don't really sing. Mumble rap, I guess, is my biggest hate.
Yeah.
But you know, Future, I've never really known him to sing on many songs, but in this song he's actually singing. You know, maybe I just
part of it,
parts of it, but it definitely felt like it was a little bit more appropriate in its setting versus the Travis Scott one, where the song feels like it should have ended and then he just comes back in, whereas this, it was a little bit more cohesive with the beat and the lyrics. But
my favorite part would probably be the second verse when like the drums kick back in, and again a lot of lyrics here that I think are dark and interesting. So he's saying like, overdose, I don't have the tolerance like before, I don't want the tolerance anymore. And then obviously the biggest part, when I first like sort of read through the lyrics and saw this, I was like, whoa, holy. The first part he says, they didn't think I'd make it past 24. And then the second verse he's saying, I don't want to make it past 34. Yeah. And obviously now he's past 34, thank God. Happy birthday, Abel, happy belated.
Great song overall. I don't know, it for me isn't as much of a standout. It definitely is a bit more on the chill side. It's a great song, don't get me wrong. But it almost feels a little bit more forgettable than some of the other songs, but that's just because, you know, at least 22 song album, you know, something's bound to be
100%.
a little bit slipping through the cracks. And this song, unfortunately, is that for me.
Yeah, okay. For me, like every song just keeps growing the more and more I listen. I really like this song. I rated it a 9.5.
I'd have to give it a 9.
9.
It's I don't want to say it's like my
You're killing me, bro. This like he's rapping and everything. This song is so good.
You know, a lot of people talk about the energy switch up halfway through the album. For me, the second half is probably a lot higher than the first half, with the exception of Wake Me Up. But all of the songs, including the bonus ones, are like my favorite.
100%. One thing I noticed when I was first listening to the album was like the first half feels like toxic Abel to me. Like dark, you know, as we said, drowning in this bathtub, doing these drugs again. In the second half, he's finding this light. And obviously, there's a theory we'll talk about in a little bit with one of the songs.
It is a little bit introspective, which I do appreciate from, I guess, a character and storytelling standpoint, where he's saying, you know, I guess he's alluding more to SoFi. He's like, you know, once I'm a superstar and I've done everything and I've said everything that needs to be said, will you still love me when I'm gone?
Exactly. When like the curtains close, when the show is done, I hope you mourn, and if you don't, well, I hope you enjoy it, right? Yeah.
Great song.
Yeah. All right, next up we have Given Up on Me. Now, in my top 3 video, I put it number 1. As it currently stands for me, it still is number 1. This song is just like...
There's so many layers to the song.
Like you said, it feels like 3 songs in one.
I first heard that little intro and I was like, this sounds a little bit like Kanye West or something.
When it beat switch,
and I was just, wow, blown away.
Yeah.
So many layers and vocal performances and just the energy of the song.
Yeah, 100%. The beat drop is insane, like from the instrumental to the beat drop. Caught me off guard when I was first hearing it. I thought it was going to be like another slower song, and then it becomes that. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, like I don't like how it like gets slower, and it should just... I kind of agree with that. Like, I feel like the other part could have been like a different song. I think like the first part of Given Up on Me is like one of the best parts on the album for me.
I've been lying to your faces, I've been always wasted, and again, alluding back to that voice message that we see in Reflections Laughing, where she's telling him, he's like, hey, I heard you're not doing so well in Texas. You know, how long was he going through those shows?
This entire trilogy that we thought, okay, if After Hours is hell, if Dawn FM is this like radio show purgatory, well then we're gonna see some sort of afterlife, some sort of heaven. And then in this song, he basically says, no, screw all that. This whole thing has been a lie. I've been doing drugs this whole time. I've been toxic old Weeknd, like just been lying to your faces like that. Like that was like insane. I was like, there's no way.
Yeah, and
that's something the Weeknd would do.
Yeah, I have a little theory of who he's talking to when he's saying, why won't you let me go? I feel like he's speaking to us as the fans because, you know, no one wants the Weeknd to finish making his music, but obviously it's leading to some not good lifestyle choices.
I've given up on me as the Weeknd.
Yeah. And in that interview that he had, I think it was with Variety. Yeah, he said to everyone in the interview, I guess, he's saying, you know, it's a rat race. It only ends when you end. There's new accolades to meet. There's new trophies and records to set and beat, and it only ends when you walk away.
Yeah. When you end it.
Yeah.
Great song. Favorite part for me is either the beat drop or the I've been lying to your faces. That lyric is just insane. Given Up on Me, at least the first part, I guess you could say, is like 9/8. Like, I'm just gonna be straight up, it's a 9/8 for me. It's so good. Like, every time I'm bumping it in the car, I'm just losing my mind.
I would have to give the first part a 9/3. So
Okay.
I 9/3, but the second part of the song is what steals the show for me. I've never really had a song, you know, just like that. Switch.
Yeah.
And, you know, one moment you're going from, like, as you said, like a chill car ride song where you're bumping your head, it feels like a rave.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're in, like, smooth jazz territory.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, like, one of my favorite songs by The Weeknd, Snow Child.
Yeah.
It seems very reminiscent of that.
100%. Yeah. And he's saying, oh Lord, I want your company, all this stuff.
Yeah, it's very gospel, like I've seen people describe it. And it's, you know, I really enjoy and vibe with those slower, more introspective songs. So this, for me, if I had to rate the second half as its own song, that would be my 9/8.
Okay.
Second half?
Yeah, so if I give the first half a 9/8, I'll give the second half, like, again, it's just slower. There's not much going on. It's still beautiful. And I love the little Mike Dean part. I think it's Mike Dean. I don't know. I'm just going to assume it's Mike Dean because Mike Dean's crazy. But I like the part where it's going like this, like it's quicker. Yeah, yeah, that part is like...
Sounds
again,
like a heartbeat almost.
Yeah, again, it's just Mike Dean. Just Abel's probably like, yo, just do whatever you want. Like, just Mike Dean just mess around on this album. And I think Mike Dean said it's like one of the greatest albums he's made. And I agree. It's insane. Yeah, second part, again, a bit slower. Probably like a 9 for me, but still very strong. 9. Obviously. All right, well, it's just banger after banger because now we have I Can't Wait to Get There. This song grew on me a lot. Like when I first heard it, and even like second or third listen through, but it's not really like, it's not really my vibe. It's kind of like more, like you said, Kanye-ish, especially the instrumental, but just grew on me a lot, and the lyrics are insane. High school dropout, chilling with academics, now I can finish the sentence. And even like the first lyric, like when I like read it, I lost my mind. It's like, dear summer, we've been running the numbers, we just shy off a Billy, sold my crib to Madonna. Like, come on. Like that's insane. And then he talks about his father in the song too, which is interesting. Which is interesting. There's quite a few references to his father.
And Hurry Up Tomorrow as well.
Yeah, favorite part of me for this song, probably just the lyricism. If anything, like you said, sounds like Snow Child, I think it's this one for me because he's just going bar for bar for bar.
In the best way possible. It's weird. I've never heard Abel really come into this territory.
It's a very different Abel song, yeah.
Yeah, I mean those vocal samples, the I Can't Wait to Get There part.
Love it. Yeah.
I've never heard anything like it, but I love it. It's masterful.
Yeah.
And again, the flow on this song, like
and I eviscerate my enemies and piss on
their grave. That's just, the flow is unmatched.
Yeah, 9-2 for me.
9-3.
9-3. Okay. All right, we got Timeless up next. Banger song with Cardi. I'm not going to say too much about it because it's been out for a while. Probably like a 9-1 for me. It's just a hype song. So much going on.
Yeah, I guess when I initially heard it, I was a little worried into how it would fit with the whole afterlife and moving
especially
past
Cardi.
Toxic Abel. And again, I'm not really a fan of Cardi. It doesn't really sound like he's singing. And I've seen the live performances of him in Sao Paulo. And again, on the Grammys, and he's just...
Not doing much.
He's not doing much.
No.
He's just kind of throwing in some ad-libs over a backed vocal track. And it's a little hard to watch for me, personally. Yeah. And I'm not a huge fan of this song. Actually, you know what? If I had to give a lowest rated song to this album, it'd be Timeless. Okay. Maybe that's just because it has overstayed its welcome for me. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't fit us thematically with the rest of the album. I almost wish that it got cut and Dancing on the Flames acoustic version took its place.
Okay.
8.8.
Okay.
That's the first song I've given below a 9.
Okay.
But it's got great flow towards the end when it's going timeless.
100%. Yeah.
It's a vibe. Yeah. It's just not as strong on the album.
What is just banger after banger here? Niagara Falls is next. Very interesting song title. I was really confused when I sort of saw the track list for the first time.
I wonder if there's some sort of childhood memory he has associated with it. Because
he talks about, holding this girl to like the sunset in Niagara Falls.
Well, Niagara Falls is geographically about an hour drive away from where he grew up in Scarborough, Toronto.
Okay, yeah.
So it is maybe some sort of memory he made there.
100%.
Visiting as a child or something.
Yeah, we love the Canadian references. It's such a good song. Again, there's a lot of lyricism, but it's also sort of this like weirder love song, I guess you could say. Mike Dean's doing his thing with the synths there, absurd. Favorite part for me though has to be the ending where it's transitioning into Take Me Back to LA. Sun is shining bright, set my heart on fire. I lost my life going back in time. Like the chords on that, the synths, they're just insane. And like as soon as you hear the little duh, you just know, okay, now we're to Take Me Back to LA territory.
Yeah, it is one of the greatest strengths, but also one of the things that holds it back for me as an album a little bit. Like I'm never one to shy with, all the songs in general. As I've said, I've listened to this album 72 times, probably maybe a little bit more, but that's just what Spotify Tracker tells me. And it's because, I'll listen to it start to finish always. But it's not one of these albums that I can pick out a song like Niagara Falls and only listen to Niagara Falls and then play something else. Okay. Because towards the ends of all these songs, similar to like how Out of Time performed, you hear Jim Carrey, and it's just one of those things that if you're not listening to it within the context of the album, it sounds a little weird the way it just kind of trails off into nothing. Yeah. It's great in the context of the album, but like a song like this wouldn't really perform well as a single. Yeah. It's not meant to.
Yeah, there was someone on Instagram, I think it was the Weeknd Updates XO page, but they shared like this funny text I saw where it was like her sister or brother or something. It was like, oh yo, how come like the end of like Baptized in Fear, like it just like cuts off? And it's like, bro, like because it transitions. Like you gotta listen to it properly. You can't be skipping songs, right?
Yeah, and it again is one of these albums you can't really passively listen to it if you really want a deep dive. Take the time, Look at genius lyrics, make all those references and connections, and if you're a true XO, you'll kind of notice a few of them yourself.
100%, yeah, 100%. Again, Niagara Falls, I love the sample. It's another song that grew on me and just will continue to grow. When I first heard it, like, I thought a lot of the songs in the album were a bit slower paced, except for like Cry For Me or like maybe the second part of Wake Me Up, the first part of Giving Up On Me. But is the outro your favorite part as well then, the transition?
Yes, only because it builds so much hype up to my favorite song
On the album,
maybe on the album.
yeah.
Next to Wake Me Up, actually. It's all top 3 if you had to give this song a rating.
Definitely a vibe song. Late night driving, like downtown. I mess with this. 9-3. 9-3.
I'd have to agree with you. 9-3. 9-3 is fair. I have been waiting for this song since that first Instagram live teaser that he played.
I saw it live before
5 years in the making, and I have had this, remade version that someone made on YouTube where, they've slowed down the pitch and it's a little bit more reverb. The lyrics aren't fully complete. It sounds like a different song, but when I heard this on the album, I was blown away.
100%.
I was really worried it wasn't going to make it somehow.
Yeah.
Really worried.
Yeah. No, it fits perfectly. I love the lyrics. He talks about LA and then he sort of transitions then into talking about like Toronto, like where he grew up, the snow would fall on my face. Again, just a vibe song. Like just a song you just like sit there and just do what I love.
Yeah, and leading from this song into the next song, which we'll get into a little theory I've discussed with you, it starts to kind of signify that transitional period in the album where he's starting to kind of walk away from it because he's saying, that's when I realized I'm better when I'm by myself. And then in the second or third chorus, he says that's when I realized I hate it when I'm by myself. Yeah. And it's that kind of progression through this song. And again, the parallels, Escape from LA on After Hours to Take Me Back to LA.
Yeah.
LA obviously holds a special place in his heart.
Yeah. The only thing that confuses me about this song is like, if you're trying to walk away from this Weeknd character, and in After Hours, sort of you created this world in LA where, it's filled with like sin, drugs, and like, just take me out of this place, why would you want to go back?
I think it's a little bit of missing it,
Okay.
It's the character that he wants to let go of, but it's kind of all he knows.
Yeah.
It's something that he's good at. The Weeknd is a character he, again, in that Variety album, he said, no one will outdo the Weeknd better than me. I've done the Weeknd to the best of my ability. But again, it's that thing he's so good at, Where does Abel go from here?
Yeah.
Will Abel be as successful as the Weeknd?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. When I think of referencing LA to the Weeknd, I think of Beauty Behind the Madness.
Really?
Just because that was the album for me that like took him to like superstardom.
Oh.
Like Can't Feel My Face, The Hills, In the Night, just banger songs that did so well on charts. So I think that like because like Kissland, sure, insane. I think Beauty Behind the Madness just like spiraled him into
it was
like
the most mainstream.
100%. Yeah. No, yeah, great song. Just synth pop. I think I rated it second on my top 3 video. Yeah. Again, a song that's growing on me. When I was hearing the teasers, unlike you, I thought it was a little slower. And then you hear the actual studio version and you hear that one vocal in the second part where he's just singing his heart out. That's probably the best part for me.
And it goes like...
9.5.
If I gave Wake Me Up a 9.8, this is about tied, maybe a little lower because I had heard it before, but I was anticipating it 9.7.
Oh, lower than Wake Me Up?
I think so, just because Wake Me Up was so fresh. And I love when an album has a good start, because
it has to.
It sets the bar and the tone for the rest.
Yeah.
But yeah, Big Sleep.
Big Sleep.
Weird. I love it though.
Weird. Obviously, the I Love It When You're Angry snippet that we saw like years ago, finally got it, finally on the album, and then we get those Giorgio Moroder synths, Scarface theme. What a great song. Yeah. Like just there's so much to it, and I want to run through a theory with all of you. Go for it. We'll explain this. This is crazy.
Yeah, so again, going back to those initial teasers of the I Love It When You're Angry, there's a little theory going around this on Reddit or TikTok or something, and it's that the original I Love It When You're Angry was its own fully completed, finished song that maybe sometime live at SoFi he said he went back and he rewrote all the songs.
Yep.
If you listen to the second part of Big Sleep, I guess before transition, you can hear voices get distorted. And he's saying, I can't. It gets distorted, and it's like the song kind of abruptly ends. And the
It was just going to be like another toxic Weeknd song.
Yes, because again, I love it when you're angry. That's a very toxic thing to say.
Okay,
And with the song title being Big Sleep, it's almost like he's putting the Weeknd character to sleep.
Yeah.
That's why the song reaches such a dramatic shift after those vocalized distortion.
The voice is distorted almost as like if you're like turning something off.
Yeah.
Like you're turning off like this robot or something.
Going to bed.
Yeah, and going to bed. So like, is this then the moment that the Weeknd character dies, do you think? Or like maybe he doesn't die, maybe he just like goes to sleep, I don't know.
Well, again, there's another theory we can talk about towards the end of this title track, Hurry Up Tomorrow, which maybe we'll get into that when
we'll get into it, yeah.
But your favorite moment of this song?
It would have to be those Giorgio synths. Or actually no, like the part where he's like hitting the same pitch of vocal as the synths.
It's lower as it goes down.
The lower ones as well, but like the first ones where he's just singing so exceptionally high. I heard that and I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, how's this guy doing this? You know what I mean? So I would say that or the synths, and then like just that like church choir vibe towards the end. Now I lay me down to sleep. Pray the Lord my soul to keep. Angels watch me through the night, wake me up with light. Like, it's beautiful. So like I think if we are going off that theory, I think this is the song where like, hey, this character is done.
Yeah. Favorite part of this is when his voice is going more pitched down towards the end of the song.
Yeah, and then he comes in with the vocal and like soul resurrecting, like that's
It's gorgeous.
Yeah. Such a good song. It grew on me again, 9-3.
Yeah. Again, it's one of those songs you wouldn't really listen to if you just wanted to listen to like music.
100%.
I guess like it's not really your typical song.
Yeah.
But for me, in the context of the album, it's beautiful. I'd have to give it a 9.6.
That's high. Yeah.
Very high.
Yeah.
I love it.
Next up, Give Me Mercy. A song again that had to grow on me a little bit. It's like it was like a Save Your Tears vibe for me. Just like this like higher upbeat, but still like very emotional or like love song, I guess you could say. Because it feels more upbeat. It's not like dark Weekend or anything like that for me. It's just like a nice song to listen to. Like there isn't a whole lot going on, but it's just a nice like vibe song, I guess you could say.
It's a great song. But I would say compared to some heavy hitters and more experimental stuff like he had before, like Big Sleep, it definitely plays it a little bit more safe.
Yeah,
it's gorgeous, don't get me wrong.
Hardest to love vibes too, because it's got like the shaker, it's a little bit quicker for me.
It's solid all the way around.
Solid song.
There's nothing wrong with it.
I'll listen to it 100 times if I need to.
It is definitely miles, for me, better than Dancing in the Flames was, because I think, not to dog on Apple or Apple Tesfaye, it did seem a bit too commercialized, like it was trying to be made for the radio, which is why I prefer the acoustic version.
Another big lyric in this song, sort of what I alluded to earlier in the video, eyes without a face, with nothing to say. Again, the Open Hearts music video, and even like his performance on was Jimmy Kimmel, where he's like wearing those weird glasses where it's just like this eye or these eyes and like, is there a soul behind them? We're starting to see. Yeah, a favorite part for me would have to be like when the lower synths are coming in towards the end. It's like, you give me mercy. Like that part for me.
Me too.
Yeah. Great song. I feel like we're dissing it a little bit, but like, it's actually a great song.
Yeah.
It's actually good.
It's just there are better ones. Yeah. I have to give it a 9.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 9 as well. Yeah. Next up, Drive. A song for me that I liked from the beginning, but I know you didn't.
It was a similar thing to Give Me Mercy, where it felt a little bit safe. It's one of those songs, it's meant for the car.
100%. Well, you want to drive.
Yeah.
You just want to drive.
Just
drive somewhere, just go.
Drive, late night vibes.
Yes.
This is that song.
The vibe I get from this is the fact of like, a lot of people will find driving therapeutic. I know I do. I love driving. It's fun. So he's just saying like, I've gone through all this pain. I just want to go somewhere. And then obviously has a lyric that hits like really hard. It's like, just be kind, I'm a child again, and no child deserves suffering, which is I love the vocals in it. I think the chords hit very nicely. For me, favorite part I would have to say is like, obviously the chorus. I feel like there's a lot going on. There's a lot of harmonizing.
I'd have to give it 9.1.
I'm gonna agree. 9.1. Yeah. The Abyss featuring Lana Del Rey.
These two together are just
It's crazy. It's crazy. I will say, like, when I first heard The Abyss teased on the teaser, I thought, wow, this song, like, this is gonna be my favorite song on the album. It's gonna be insane. But then so many other songs came out that are just equivalent, if not upper tier. So this song for me, like, it's low-key underplayed right now just because it's towards the end of the album, and I'll start the album from the beginning every time I want to listen to it, so maybe I don't always get to it. The Lana Del Rey vocals are absurd. The Hold Your Heart part is insane. Like, it's probably for me one of the songs that has just the most going on. I feel like there's like so much in it, you know what I mean? Like, there's just so many layers.
It's interesting to see how this song developed. There was a lot of rumors that Lana Del Rey was kind of tacked on and added towards
Late,
the
yeah.
because if you listen to the first edition pressing of the vinyl or CD, if you listen to The Abyss, Lana Del Rey is nowhere to be seen. Cuts off right before she starts her part. In the end, that's what a first pressing vinyl is.
Yeah.
The raw, uncompleted version of the album as it was originally intended.
Yeah.
You know, I guess before he went back and rewrote it after
Yeah.
Sci-Fi.
Honestly, let me know in the comments what you guys think, but I'm still really confused with what happened with this whole album rollout. I don't know why the album cover changed. Was the album meant to be 11 songs? Favorite part for me would probably have to be the beat drop. And I do want to mention like how much that one part changed from it being teased 5 years ago or however long it was.
Yeah, for me it's Lana Del Rey's vocals.
They're insane.
If you listen,
They're insane.
give yourself an opportunity to crank it to the maximum and have
Watch
a
your ears.
large open room.
Yeah.
Wow.
Beautiful song. Love the piano in the
high notes
beginning.
she hits is just
Yeah, they're crazy. And I do find it very fitting how he puts her on his last album. 9-4 for me.
wow. Spot on with these last few.
Yeah?
Also 9-4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can read you. We're too Weeknd alike.
Oh yeah. Red Terror.
If there's one song on the album, it's like, hey, what's the song that has like the most storytelling? It's probably this one for me. War, this like political unrest within Ethiopia, and obviously his mother being caught in the middle of it. I feel like this is the Weeknd speaking to his child self in the form of his mom as a song.
Yeah, it's interesting.
That was confusing.
It's
but yeah.
interesting because he's not describing what happened to his mom. He's speaking from the perspective of his mom.
Like Hush My Child is like as if it was Samra speaking to Abel.
Yeah, or You Were Never Heavy, Light Just Like a Feather.
Yeah.
I Ran from the Terror.
The first part of the song, just like those weird like synths. He teased it on Instagram like a few days before the album dropped. I was like, what is that? Like, how is that going to play into this album? It did perfectly. And again, just the vocals and the production, so much going on inside of it. And then obviously we have the poem, which I know you're like obsessed with.
I love that poem.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a little bit of a sucker for poetry. And I know he didn't write that piece, but it's gorgeous.
What do you think it means? Because he's saying like, okay, I'm gonna kill this Weeknd character, I'm gonna end this, but then like, is this poem the Weeknd coming back in or something and saying like, death doesn't count, I've only slipped into the next room, nothing happened, nothing changed, you're still you, I'm still me, right?
I think it's a little bit of like repression from him not being able to fully
die or
get rid of
yeah.
Obviously there's still gonna be that
actually, that's a good idea.
Trauma and guilt associated with his actions that he can't fully get rid of, which he talks about a little bit in Hurry Up Tomorrow.
Favorite part for me is the synths just before the poem.
Yes.
It's just, they just get like darker and darker. They're so good. 9-5. 9-5.
9-4.
Okay.
Sorry to break the streak.
One off. It's all good. Now we have, I think, one of your favorite songs.
This, if I had to say top 3, it'd be a fight between this and title track Hurry Up Tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay.
To complete my top 3.
I mean, I thought it would be called The Crowd, as did 90% of Weeknd fans.
I thought this would have been the opener.
100%, yeah.
Because that's how it was played in Sao Paulo,
Yeah.
and then Wake Me Up followed it.
The beat drop with Metro caught me so off guard. I was like, what?
Yeah.
It's so good. That's probably my favorite part. Actually, maybe the outro. We're singing I Don't Suppose Tomorrow's Coming.
That part is gorgeous.
That's so good. Yeah.
There's
it's so
again,
good.
it's one of those songs that has so many layers and lyrical influences, and it switches up the beat like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
But for me, strongest part, and I know it's not any one particular part, is just all the lyricism that goes into this. Really encapsulates everything he's trying to say in this album. A lot of these songs cover separate themes and parts of like association with guilt, not being able to say goodbye to the Weeknd character and wanting to hold on, but this song ties all of it together.
Yeah. In terms of a very personal song to the Weeknd or to Abel, this and Hurry Up Tomorrow are probably like the 2 most.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, he's just alluding to like one of like a canon event in his life, like probably one of the scariest moments he's ever been through. My voice fails, but the crowd will still scream my name, even though the world wants me to fail. Like, it's just so personal and so raw, I feel like.
Maybe my favorite lyric on the album is I should have been sober, but I can't afford to be boring. You know, again, keeping up the Weeknd character. You know, he's stuck in a cycle.
I forgot what my highest rating is up until now. Did I give something like a 9.8? Giving Up on Me was a 9.8. If Giving Up on Me was a 9.8, it's probably a 9.7 for me. There's so much to this song.
I think this would also be tied for 9.8 with me.
Yeah.
Wake Me Up.
Yeah. Now we have the title track, the final track, Hurry Up Tomorrow. It's so emotional. It's just such a sad, like it's
beautiful.
It's so beautiful. Again, very personal song. Just saying like, I hope my confession is enough. Like I feel like this is the song where he's like actually like finding maybe an afterlife. I don't know.
If there was ever a perfect way to say goodbye to the Weeknd character, I feel like this song is there.
And it's only written by him.
Burn me with your light. I have no more fights left to win. He has topped all the charts, all the records. He's done it all, really. And there's no need for him to...
Yeah, and then he says, I'll accept that this is the end. He's saying, hey, like, I'm done. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's also interesting he talks about the relationship he has with his father in the song. Again, that was the other song that he mentioned.
I can't wait to get there, right?
Yeah, I can't wait to get there. Then the lyric, they took a piece of me that I've been trying to fill that void that my father left so no one else abandons me.
Again, like we mentioned earlier, we see the bathtub again in this song. Just such an emotional, raw lyric. Like, now I'm drowning in the same tub where I learned how to swim, like as a kid, with his mother.
Trying to save every ounce of my innocence. I failed her like I failed myself. I'm sorry. Beautiful.
It's great. Favorite part would be the vocals towards the end.
Yeah.
Those are insane. And probably just the lyricism overall. Yeah, just the fact that it's only him speaking to himself, I guess you could say. 9.6.
9.7. Because I have to be in a very specific mood for me to listen to that song. Now, if you were to rate the entire album as a whole, now that we've summed up each individual song, is that something you can do?
Is this the best Weeknd album for you?
You know, as someone who religiously listens to albums as projects because of the story and the cohesiveness, this is, out of every album I've heard in my entire life, probably one of the most engaging.
Cinema.
And cinematic. It is just takes you to so many highs, and if you really know what's going on with the Weeknd as a character, you'll appreciate every aspect of it so much more. I'd have to give it, as an album, probably 9.6, maybe 9.7.
Well, I'm gonna agree with him. I'm gonna give it a 9.6. One big thing that I'm gonna have to do is listen to After Hours, Dawn FM, and Hurry Up Tomorrow, just in one like cohesive like go. Because even before this album came out, I was re-listening to After Hours and Dawn FM, and I was just seeing like the parallels in the lyrics. Movie comes out May 16th. I'm gonna be there. Tour is gonna be crazy. But yeah, that was just a bit of an album breakdown video. Anything else you had to say?
No, I think we covered it.
I think we covered a lot. It's gonna be a longer video.
Hope you enjoyed.
Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a comment what you thought of every song. Give every song a rating in the comment section. Rate the overall album. Did you agree with our theories? Did you disagree? Do you have another one? Like, comment, subscribe, all that. Till next time. Good shit.